Hello. Welcome back to the channel then guys. This is Rajoshi and today we're going to create a poster using very basic elements and a very boring picture. So without any further ado, let's get started. We are going to create this poster using only 4 steps, and that is creating the background, adding the elements, adding titles, and then we'll just finish it off using some global adjustments. So with that being said, let's get started and welcome back to this wonderful world of Affinity Photo 2. So let's get going. I have created a new document using the YouTube thumbnail resolution, and I have dropped this image as you saw before, the one that we clicked, and we placed it right here. And then we are going to resize this image and compose it to our needs. And once we are done with this thing, the next thing we are going to do here is add the elements, but before that we should add a background, and for that we create a blank layer, choose the gradient tool, press G to choose the gradient tool, and then draw a simple gradient like that, and then change the blending mode to darken. Once we are done with creating this basic palette, the next thing we are going to do here is adding the elements, in this case the clouds. So we just pick the clouds and place it on top of everything else. Once we are done adding the clouds, the next thing we are going to do here is actually use some gradients and pixel layers to create more depth. So let's do that. Create another blank layer, choose a brush, soft big round brush with white as a foreground color, just paint around the edges just like that, and then decrease the opacity to give it a faded out look. This was the before, this is the after, before after. And then what we are going to do here is actually add some texture to the image using dust stamps. So create another blank layer, white as a foreground color, just add some texture randomly. This will just add to the depth of this image, nothing less, nothing more, simple as that. Alright, and we came to the third step, and now it's time for the third step, that is adding the titles. So for that, let us pick a sweet name for this poster. Let me call it clouds. Okay, so we are going to paint it white and choose a different font, maybe Danisha, or is it called Danisha? Yeah, so Danisha is the chosen font for this case, and we are going to rename it like this. We're going to just place it like that, and then choose this layer, go to the filters panel and add a displace filter, then load map from beneath, and then we're just going to displace it. So we simply added some effect to the word clouds, and that will help us to understand this composition better, understand this writing better, and much more matched to the vibe of this image. So once we're done with that, next thing we're going to do here is add the titles that actually add up to a film poster. So for that, I have already created this palette here, and I'm just going to copy the titles from here. So let's copy the tagline, Control C, and then Control V, and then add a tagline here. The tagline is going to be, let's say, a story of dreams. Story of dreams, that is going to be our tagline. And now the tagline is not that much visible here, and that is going to create a problem. So to fix that thing, we are going to do one simple trick, that is select this tagline, choose effects, and then just bevel and emboss it slightly. Ever so slightly, around 2.4 to 2.5 pixels. So we are done with adding the title. The next thing we are going to copy here is the direction part and paste it here. Make it larger and then zoom in, change the color to black for the better visibility, and then we're going to give it a name. So let's say directed by white fang. So let's say white, then let's say the writer will be my real name, and then the story, let's say story by, and we are pretty much done with editing this layer. And now it's time for finishing off. So we're going to create the group. So we have these cloud layers, beautiful cloud layers, the main title, and this goes under the title tab. We have the titles. We have now everything separated under different groups, and the last thing we're going to do here is add and play with some adjustment layers as well as some special effects. So let's add a glow to the image. So for that we are going to add a Gaussian blur layer. This should be above everything else. Preserve the alpha, choose a blending mode, let's say lighten for this case, and then remove it from the extreme shadow slightly, ever so slightly. So this adds to a glow in this image. As you can see here, this was the before, this is the after. You can take a better look. This was the before and this is the after, before and after. And next thing we're going to do here is actually add some color variations in the image that way it makes it look much more dynamic. So for that we are going to create an HSL layer, choose the blue and increase this range to blues and pick a pink color, soft baby pink color, like that, and then press Ctrl or Command I to invert it. Choose a brush with normal big soft round brush with flow around 100% flow, it never hurts, and just paint it in some regions only, and then invert this layer and remove it from again. This time decrease the flow and remove it from certain places. And that's all. We are done creating this poster. This was the before, this is the after. Now if you ask me what we actually did here, it's very simple. We turned something like this into something like that, and I think it's a great way to keep your photographic alive, keep your photographic style alive. If you have nothing to shoot something simpler, turn it into something different, and that is a play, a game on its own, and that unlocks your creativity, that develops your creative eyes and creative thinking. So with that being said, we end this session today. I hope you enjoyed. It was kind of boring, but yeah, if you're holding up to this level, then I think you're my kind of person. You're not boring, you're super interesting, man. So we'll see next so we'll meet next. See, I spoke wrong again. We'll meet soon in the next video. Until then, take care, adios and goodbye. Take care.